Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Thursday night, and you know what that means. Another podcast on the panel. We got Wolf, Boss, Dreezy, Sleazy, and Hulk and Brent. We're just going to dive right into it. We have the Devil versus MJF. During the segment, four guys came to jump MJF, and Samoa Joe runs out of all people to save the day. There's a lot of speculation about who's in the suits and the masks. I know Brent is ready as hell to talk about this. A lot of talks that it looked straight like Wardlow. I didn't think that he was as tall, but the emotion behind MJF made me feel like there is a high probability that he is preparing to drop this belt at World's End. Wolf, what do you have, my friend?
All right, so what a segment it was. We finally got a lot of story regarding the Devil. I'm glad I'm going first because I want to name drop somebody that I don't think you guys would otherwise think about. I haven't seen anybody else name drop who this guy is, who the possible Devil is. So there was a piece of text that was transposed over the over the segment, and one of the things was, "Are you a hero, Max?" So think about it for a second. Are you a hero, Max? Hero, Chris Hero. Come on. Chris Hero is in AEW. He's working backstage in AEW, and Tony's been pushing for Chris Hero to start wrestling again. And it might not be the splash that a lot of casual fans would want to see, but I think as just a fan of pro wrestling and knowing Chris Hero's work, I would be pretty excited for it. So I'll pass the torch.
So the one thing I do want to talk about the most is the fact that, a lot of speculations on Wardlow, because immediately after that segment, Wardlow comes out and his hair's all messy, and it looked like either he just rolled out of bed or he had hastily pulled something off his head. I know when I wear a hat sometimes, because I don't know how to, I guess there's a proper way to put on a winter hat, and I don't know how to do that, and my hair looks all messy. So a lot of speculation on Wardlow, and someone in our, I don't know if someone in this panel or in the server pointed out the boots. And yes, pointed out the boots, and it was like, oh, it's similar to Wardlow. And now I'm looking like, maybe it is Wardlow. But I do want to elaborate a bit further. That MJF did have a stable in AEW called the Pinnacle. It was Wardlow, FTR, and Shawn Spears. What if these four Devil guys are the Pinnacle and they're coming back to get vengeance on the guy who basically abandoned them? You got anything about this, Dreezy?
I do think one of the guys is Wardlow. If I had to bet money, which I never do, but if I had to, I would bet that guy's Wardlow. Like you said, the hair. I know sometimes I wear a beanie, and when I take it off, my hair is a mess. I have to go to the bathroom and put water in it and stuff. And he clearly had no time to do that. And the boots, yes, the three other guys, they had kind of similar boots to what John Moxley wears. But this specific guy, the big guy, he had very similar boots to what Wardlow wore. And Shane, maybe because you've had some wrestling matches, but those boots, they take a while to put on. It's not something that you can just kind of slip on during the commercial break, So I think that's a pretty safe bet that was Wardlow. And for the other three guys, anything is possible. To me, none of those guys looked like the Pinnacle because especially FTR, they're kind of big-chested, big barrel dudes, and none of those guys really look like that. But anything could happen. To me, I'm starting to think that besides Wardlow, those other three guys are probably the Kingdom. So Matt Taven, Roddy Strong, because one of the guys on the left side who was holding MJF's left arm, he was a little thin, and to me he kind of looked like Mike Bennett, the body shape. So I'm thinking it could be them, but that means the Devil is Adam Cole. I almost said Michael Cole. Adam Cole. That's all I got.
Michael Cole would be a hell of a swerve as the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he was the devil, he would have to take MJF to a local medical facility. So,
Nice.
my theorem on who the devil is obviously the greatest FTW champion of all time,
This guy.
Jungle Boy. Hear me out, all right? So, he probably paid some big dude in the back to look like the devil, but then he's gonna swerve when he drives because he's got a bug in his eye, and then reveal himself to be Jungle Boy, the devil. And then he's gonna take down MJF, and it's gonna be the greatest day of my life.
Brent, you gotta chime in on this one, please.
That was absurd right there.
We love him for it. Come on.
If it's Jack Perry, it's not that impressive. I mean, there was the glass shattering thing. There's also the speculation Wardlow's there. Like, that's why I said Pinnacle. I joked around with Sean Spears the other night, I think, when we chat, like, as a joke, just throwing it out there. But it's like, if it is guys that were burned by MJF, not necessarily the group, there's a lot of people gunning for him. I mean, easily. You still have the Bullet Club to deal with too. You have a bunch of guys. Or is it just MJF just pulling the strings? Because they didn't do anything to actually hurt MJF on the stage for that. The lights going dark, you know, they could have easily got him. You know, and then just they held him there. He wasn't really fighting in his angst to get out, you know. So it's like, is it gonna be a good swerve into? It's MJF still. He's just the most evil, you know. He's just awesome. I mean, it gets more people talking by having who is it gets everybody watching. I mean, if you go watch the other wrestling YouTubers that are speculating, I mean, everybody knows about the Wardlow and his messy hair and the static. It's like, dude, you could have wet your hair with a spray bottle backstage or coconut oil or, you know, anything. No, I'm just gonna come out with the fuzzy hair in the front.
Well, I mean, it's hard to see that fuzzy hair, Brent. You look like you're about to start a ska band with that little derby cap on, dude.
My little driver's cap.
I
do
know you
have
took the
hair,
time to
at
slick it back.
Probably have the most hair here.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Well, we have a couple people in the chat. We have Rollins, of course, not being able to be present, but wanting to chime in. Rollins, C-Boss, is seeming to want to tell you that FTR is involved with House and Black feud right now. It doesn't make sense to him. Now, I'm going to hijack that statement before you put your 2 cents in. Rollins, man, you watch enough professional wrestling. It could really be whatever, whoever, whenever, especially in AEW. Tony Khan's big thing is absolutely just disregarding storylines that he starts and then expecting fans to get it. That has been an issue in the past. That's just me saying it out loud. Yeah, it was a very good theory that it could be the Pinnacle, but I think it would be the Pinnacle led by Adam Cole. Hey, Max, you're finally getting some payback for all the crappy things that you did for so long throughout your career, and I'm going to be the person to deliver retribution with all of the people that you screwed the most here. Boss, what do you seem to think about that?
And we don't need to be talking about retribution. Leave that in 2020. But the whole FTR House of Black thing, if it doesn't make sense to you, did you really watch Full Gear? Because the House of Black and FTR were involved in that tag team ladder match. And I believe it was when FTR was going for the belt. Who was there to stop them? Malachi Black and Brody King. Yeah. So they could spin this into a FTR being like, you screwed us out of the titles, so we're coming after you, and we're coming after you hard.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, speaking about Brody King and the House of Black, there is a lot going on in AEW programming right now. We have the C2, the Continental Classic, where Dead smack dab in the center of. Last night we got Mox over Lethal, Roosh over Mark Briscoe, and Swerve over Jay. Right now we have John Moxley and Swerve Strickland at 6 points, Jay White at 3, Roosh at 3, Brody King at 3, and Claudio Castagnoli at 3. We've got a lot of losses on the board and a couple upsets. Now, I'm not going to dig into who I think is gonna take this contest. I would like to see Swerve, and typically, we expect Mox to win these sorts of things, but my vote is for Swerve. What do you guys think is about to happen during this competition? Are we going to see some more upsets? Is Swerve going to go over? Or are they going to put over someone else?
Man, Swerve went over yesterday. He pinned Jay White.
Clean.
It's a pretty big deal, man. I mean, that's I think you had mentioned in the chat that's Jay White's first clean loss in AEW, is it not?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Clean,
MJF.
yeah, but MJF,
yeah,
he had two losses in 10 days though.
he did. Yeah, I mean that's an upset, but looking at the bracket, I'm still kind of convinced that a major part of this story is Eddie Kingston, and we like Eddie Kingston here. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Who is we?
All of us.
All of us.
I'm not
You will.
I'm not the biggest Eddie Kingston. I cannot understand a word he says when he cuts a promo.
That's why.
Hey, you're just not street enough.
Maybe it's a skill issue.
Hey, man, don't talk about Cleveland like that, bro. It's the second shades of Yonkers.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, Wolf, you think Eddie's going over? Wolf, you think this is Eddie's big redemption story? He's got an injured back that he's been trying to take time off of. That's been a very popular topic in the other channels we carouse.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it is a big part of the story is just getting that upset win over Danielson. I mean, in under 20 minutes too. It's possible. A lot of people don't seem to agree with me, but I think that if he gets a win over Danielson, and that win somehow hurts Danielson at the end of the when they get to the semis or when they get towards the finals, I think that's a pretty cool story. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I really think that this tournament is going. If Swerve goes over in this tournament, he is guaranteed that title shot at that. He's guaranteed next at MJF. I think what they should do with the Continental Classic is they should use it to strap a rocket to Swerve Strickland and shoot it to the moon. And Swerve Strickland should be AEW World Champion.
I'm going to disagree with you. And the reason why is because if Swerve wins this tournament, he is not going to be the next one in line for the World Championship because he's going to be the new Continental Champion, which means he's going to be defending that for 5 months or whatever, which is going to take him out of the main event slot, which is why I don't want to see him win because of that. Although if that wasn't the case, if that was like a guaranteed number one contendership for the world title, then yes, I want Swerve to win all the way. But the way it is now, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like the groups are very unbalanced because we have 3 absolute main eventers in the gold group, I think. Swerve, Jay White, and Moxley. But in the other group, it's just Bryan Danielson and everyone else is kind of mid-card to upper mid-card. So it's hard to tell for me who's going to win on either side. I think Danielson is going to be the finalist on the blue team. With the gold team, they're going to have to do some point shenanigans with some draws to make it kind of unpredictable to see who of those 3 big names is going to make it out of there.
Now, what about a Mox upset?
Over Swerve? Or the other way?
Yeah, just period.
Well, I think I don't know if Jay White is going to lose yet another match against Mox, so maybe that will be the draw, or maybe Jay White will beat Mox, and that will keep Mox from advancing. And then maybe Swerve and Mox will draw. But then in my head, the points, I'm not sure how that's going to add up.
Well, that's kind of what makes this tournament fun. It's a different structure. I mean, we call it C2 because it's reminiscent to G1 and how they score in the round robin format. It definitely leaves some things open in terms of upsets and how they could build storytelling around this and kind of redirect where our perception is with how these things have been told for the past 4 or 5 years. So, yeah. Sleaze.
Okay, so I just made a sandwich that was way more interesting than watching this tournament, so I'm passing it off to Brent.
Fair enough. Brent, you still with us?
Gone once.
Going
Twice.
All right. Okay, I mean, like, surely, they built this, tournament. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Oh, he's
I
gone.
think
Sorry,
he might be having
my-
some technical difficulties over there.
my
Brent's the
dog
devil.
over here
Yeah, Brent is
wants
the
to
devil,
go
I think.
outside and bark at the neighbors, late at night. The little Pomeranian.
It was him the whole time.
You know
Brent-
me, I hate Eddie Kingston, so I just don't want to see him win in the whatever. What is that? The gold group?
No, he's
Or
in
not
the
he's
blue
blue.
He's in the
group.
blue group. Yeah, the blue man group.
Well, why blue
Uh,
and gold? I've been asking myself that. Is
That's
that
that's what people have been asking, and that's why I thought there was going to be a red group and a silver group. And
They
were
should have
gonna
done
add
a.
more to
They
this.
should.
Like,
They should
they
do.
should have had a 4-tier,
They should do like Pokemon colors. This year, red and blue. Next year, gold, silver. After that, ruby and sapphire.
Oh Jesus!
Um,
Sapphire, my first ever Pokemon game.
I can't
I
wait for that
re-
DMCA from Nintendo.
I rewatched those matches today, and they're just really good matches. All
Sort-
the three, the Roosh one with Briscoe, and I don't usually like Briscoe matches. I was just thinking, man, this is one of his best matches as a singles that I've seen in a while. Out of and then the Jay White Swerve match was like. It's even more fun when you don't have commercials to sit through. You could see the funny things they did when he's like hanging over the railing in the audience with the guy next to him and stuff. I think Swerve takes it, but like you're saying, is the Continental Championship going to be something that's defended regularly? Then you don't want him to get it unless he can turn it in and go for the heavyweight title then.
Well, I mean, are the Owen Hart tournament belts things that are defended? I think this might
Yeah.
be and it's like the Dynamite Diamond Ring. They defend it once a year.
So yeah. So do you think this is going to be an actual championship, or it's like once a year type of trophy thing?
They
Like-
have not disclosed that information.
Yeah. So
but-
yeah.
Like, if
But
it
you-
is an actual championship and you can defend it on other promotions, because like a lot of people are saying, like a lot of people are theorizing that you could defend it on other promotions. It was what the international championship was originally supposed to be. I'm thinking like, ooh, Danielson can win this, take it to Wrestle Kingdom, defend it against Okada.
Yeah, if it's not defended, it's gonna suck having to carry 3 title belts all year round. into the
Well, I
next
mean,
tournament.
Right, because
I'm
you
sure
you
they're
also
gonna-
have the New Japan Strong Openweight belt and the ROH title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't just stick the ROH and WJP on the whoever wins this and expect them to hold it for a whole year. Japan don't play with that shit. That's not a thing. And honestly, I can't imagine a reality where we would have another belt that's not being defended, or if they would have to say something. And why have a Continental Classic if we're not utilizing the it says international championship. Why have that? Like, you'd merge the two belts. Brent, is there something else you got that finger up?
Okay, so I was watching some of the other wrestling promo type shows and whatever, and they're thinking possibly the Continental is going to take over the TNT title with the possible contract of the Warner Brothers contract coming up, and Tony Khan is thinking ahead so as the TNT title will just be gone in a couple months, maybe after the Christian Copeland talks. But I was like, that would make sense to make another championship title right now.
I mean, you're talking about unearthing an entire platform, though. I can't imagine that they're just gonna book Monday Night Raw, and then exile AEW off of their programming. They could theoretically
That's what I'm saying.
cash
It's
in
in
on both.
2024. In that's like May or June is when the contracts renew or renegotiations happen with AEW. So is Tony Khan thinking I'm going to move and I'm going to go to USA?
I think
That would be the
if
craziest
AEW
thing
moves
ever.
channels, then in that case they're just gonna say, "Hey, we're rebranding our championship now. It's gonna be the TV championship." I don't think they're gonna.
Or you just get rid of the TNT title because
Yeah, I think they would just rebrand
kind of
it.
boring, you know.
Well,
Then
as of
what do
now,
you
we
do with
don't
the
have
TBS title too.
as of now we don't have enough information on anything
Yeah.
that they've
Yeah,
litigated
that's what I'm
between
saying.
this.
It's a good speculation if you're thinking about it that way.
Yeah,
Is the Continental really going to be a good title?
So
I
we're
mean, why would you have the international and a continental title, right?
yeah.
It,
I mean, which
it should have
continent,
been like
though?
the open cruiserweight title, you know.
Yeah,
AEW should have a cruiserweight title. That would be awesome.
yeah. Have Chavo come out and hey, I held this in 3 other
Cruiserweight
promotions.
title? Hell
Hey,
nah.
hey, that would be a good way to have Pac, because he was cruiserweight champion in WWE.
Sure was.
Or
Neville.
-1.
Negative
That
one.
guys, theory time. -1 is the devil.
Oh, okay. Well, hey man, let's move on. As much as we could talk the C2s to death. There are so many
Yeah.
angles being played here, but we're only on week 2. We're obviously going to be talking about this every week for the next 5 weeks. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is going to be a very brief topic. Congrats to Alexa Bliss's family and the Guevaras in bringing their new children in the world. We all can't wait to see you on television again, hopefully sooner than later. Does anyone here have anything to say about that? Yep, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Just stay away from CM Punk.
Yeah, yes, stay away from CM Punk. Moving on to our next topic: Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 41.
Hey, I thought Will
Segue?
said to stay away from CM Punk, and now we're just talking
Let's
about
do
him.
Stay away from CM Punk. It was reported by Bleacher Report an hour and 48 minutes before this podcast that the Fed, WWE, is trying to bring Stone Cold Steve Austin out of retirement yet again for a feud with CM Punk for WrestleMania 41. To be honest with you guys, I would probably watch that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how could you not?
What?
I mean, who's gonna cut the better promo? Who's gonna say so or stop them from telling lies or gonna
What?
kick some ass or clobber someone? I mean, and then we're talking the stone cold alcoholic versus the straight edge guy. There are so many story angles they could take with this one. They're gonna card Vince McMahon out. They're both gonna kick the shit out of him. It's gonna be fucking.
They
great.
both have walked out. They both got fired.
I can't.
They
I
both took
can't
their
put
ball and went
parallels.
home.
I can't. When they broke that, and when Bleacher Report official, but we got the information first, and they plastered it all over their socials. I was sitting on the toilet. I'm sorry. I know it's gross. I was like, I could shit over this a second time. This is absolutely crazy. I'm gonna pass the buck on the counterfeit one over to.
Well, I mean, on paper, not toilet paper, but on regular paper, it would be a good, it'll sell tickets. It'll sell I don't know if it'll get more people to subscribe to Peacock, but it'll definitely sell tickets. Look, I think the match itself isn't going to be as good as Kevin Owens because CM Punk can't bump like KO. So on paper and in theory, it's a great idea. The promos, sure. I mean, we all know they would probably be pretty good. But the match itself, just don't get your hopes up. That's all I'll say.
All I'm saying is if they do bring Vince McMahon into this, please let him take a combination GTS Stone Cold Stunner. That would be funny.
Vince has been sleeping for about 8 years. He doesn't need to hit the GTS.
For some reason, I don't have any evidence or anything. I don't think this match is going to happen. It would be exciting, yeah, but it's whatever. Like Wolf said, Kevin Owens could carry Austin to a decent performance. I don't think CM Punk can do that because what we saw with him in AEW, he's never really got it going. He was always gassed and couldn't really keep up with a lot of the guys, and he got hurt a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, do you remember when he was AEW world champion and then he had to vacate the title because he broke his toe? Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
he didn't
we're-
vacate the title. There was an interim champion thing.
Okay, well, whatever. We'll go with that. But it still sucked. But I honestly think that if this happens, it will suck for the most part. Like, of course, it's gonna get the tickets because, oh my God, it's CM Punk versus Stone Cold. You know what's a better match than CM Punk versus Stone Cold? Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan. That would have actually made sense. But guess what? Listen, and the promo battles are gonna be completely one-sided because CM Punk is an old man who can't talk. Stone Cold can still talk, all right. And here's the thing: CM Punk, he's all about trying to slap you in the face with reality. Stone Cold can do that and then roast the hell out of you, like harder. And he's gonna be like, Austin 316 just whooped your roasted ass.
It's too easy to roast Punk right now. I can't even imagine how he's gonna have a promo battle with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I bet Stone Cold is gonna be like, son, I jumped off of cages, and you, as a world champion, had to break your toe. That's some of the dumbest bullshit I ever heard, or something like that. I don't know. But I
He
honestly
really-
sound like that.
and listen,
Please,
if
you got to
CM
tune up that
listen to-
Stone Cold impression, brother.
And if CM Punk and Stone Cold go,
If there was
CM
ever
Punk's
the
gonna
version
stub
of
his
that.
toe again, and he's gonna retire. Hulk and Brent, on to you.
As long as we get Shane Mack coming in and tripping and
God.
falling like last WrestleMania, and just having just have Snoop Dogg again, you know, like I'd rather have Snoop Dogg over CM Punk every day.
This is why I watch AEW, because I don't have to deal with this nonsense.
I think that's what Nana's dance is a lot like Snoop Dogg's dance, right? Isn't it a lot like the same?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Swerving
similar.
when he drives.
Snoop Dogg definitely swerves when he drives.
Nah, Snoop is sober now, guys. He said it while he was stoned. I mean, I have to agree with something that Sleazy said, you know, and this could segue into the next topic because Punk hasn't exactly been his Punk self behind a microphone, which is what has carried him through most of his career. Punk blows his promo on Monday because he couldn't fit everything into 10 minutes and he looked like crap. So how are they going to book him through the week? Now they doubled down on Randy Orton because he looked fantastic for a 48-year-old man and he looks fantastic, so they're putting him on SmackDown. Are we going to see Punk on SmackDown as well? We can
Orton
keep
is 48.
Huh?
Orton is 48.
He's somewhere around there. Hold on, I believe I saw that he was 48. Orton age. He's 43.
It's 43.
Oh,
I added 5.
He still looks like he's 36.
he looks good. He looks
He
great.
looks 19.
he
Are
looked
you
great.
kidding? So
I say he's like the same age as me.
yeah,
Looks like Batista.
Yeah, that's what my friend Brian said when he came out. I was like, is that Batista or is that Randy Orton? I was like,
well, I mean,
literally, I don't
Yeah.
think Batista hears voices in his head.
you know, honestly, we could pass on this one really fast. Doesn't matter if we see Punk on Friday. Is he capable of carrying himself in WWE, or was this a gigantic, colossal waste of money, manpower, and time? Moving on, which kind of segues into another Punk pseudo topic, Sareena Deeb. Which we could remove the two of them. They would both work through separate promotions, and we would all prefer to see Sareena Deeb back on television. She made a very, very, very important and kind of sad social media post today, a video about 13 minutes. She was explaining that what was going on with her and why she was gone. There were a lot of speculation about her relationship with another professional wrestler whom we're not going to bring into this conversation. He is mired in controversy. I won't say anything else. She has having some issues with intermittent seizures and things related to overworking her body, but she has assured us that she's been cleared to work again and she wants to be back on AEW television as soon as possible. Who here is excited to see that?
I mean, I love Sareena Deeb. I really do, but her health comes first. You know, it's a shame that these wrestlers just work themselves into death for our entertainment. You know, like there really should be some type of pension or some type of savings plan, you know, for these individuals who sacrifice everything, just not just their health, but their livelihood, like their mental health and everything. Sad, man. it was sad to hear, but at the same time, I'm a Mark, and I would love to see her, but only if she's healthy.
Yeah, health comes first. But if she was medically cleared and if she feels she is ready to return to the ring, then that's a good thing, because she may not be the most interesting women's wrestler on AEW's roster, but she is one of the best pure women's wrestlers. Like, I think she is in my opinion, she is the best technical women's wrestler in the world. And it will be great to see a lot more of that, what she can do. Maybe she goes, maybe she picks up where she left off at Double or Nothing last year, goes after the women's title.
I actually have a lot to say about this. I hope I don't take the next hour talking.
Take all the time you need. Lay it on us, bud.
But I want to actually address what Wolf said about the pension and everything and taking care of your health, especially in the United States, where we do have great healthcare from technological perspective, but the actual system of healthcare, for those who might not know, is incredibly predatory, incredibly expensive, and we have like these insurance companies that we have to go through. I have muscular dystrophy, and I had a heart transplant when I was 19. I'm 33 now. I'm $3 million of medical bills that I've paid through my insurance. Thankfully, I'm very lucky that I have that. If I didn't have that, my whole family for generations would be in debt, and I would be dead. So when you watch these wrestlers, they take risks. Like, any wrong move can paralyze them forever. It can end their lives at any moment. They need some kind of like breaks or off seasons or some kind of health benefits. And what I want to say about Sareena Deeb is this is unpopular, especially amongst you guys, but I'm not a big fan of her. Like, as a wrestler, like, I've never been excited about a Sareena Deeb match. I appreciate her. I totally understand why you guys like her, why you guys are fans of her. She's a good worker. But the thing that pisses me off a lot regarding this story is just the way the wrestling fans look at wrestlers as just like not even humans. There are all these dirt sheets like, oh, why hasn't he been on TV for a month? Oh, he must have heat with this guy. Oh, Tony Khan doesn't know what to do with this woman, or he doesn't know what to do with this guy. So remember Bray Wyatt? There were all kinds of rumors like, oh, he's creative, like Vince doesn't want his creative, or oh, he's like arguing with somebody backstage. Oh, he's sick. Oh, he's doing fine now. And then one day we get the news he's dead. So us fans, and we're kind of guilty with doing, because we're podcasters, we're kind of guilty of like speculating and stuff too. But I just think fans need to realize these people are human and they have problems, and they're not obligated to inform everybody. It's between them and their families and their boss. And sometimes you just got to have faith that these bookers, these promoters, they know what they're doing. They're running multi-billion-dollar businesses. So I think I got everything.
Yeah, well said. That's going to be tough to follow up. If you guys don't want to comment, that was very poignant and a very relative perspective, and refreshing. That's something that people do need to hear. These people are treated like they're objectified because of their characters, and people never ever take into consideration the risk they put themselves through every time they cross those ropes. One slip is paralyzing for the rest of their life. One concussion is not being able to feel their arms and legs again. And I mean, that's tough. Dre, that was very well said. Sleazy, you want to follow that one up, bud?
I don't really have anything else to add that Wolf, Seaboss, and Andrizzi had to add, so I'll just pass it off to Brent, see if he has anything to say.
Not too much, but these people, they do need to take care of themselves. I understand like head injuries and stuff because I have one, so you got to take rest, things like that. They don't know how long it could take to heal, so This on her, I don't know everything, but I know like there's been several wrestlers that have had to go through sicknesses from other things, so and had to wrestle through it. So I mean, you had Adam Cole last year with his traumatic brain injury and his foot thing now. Whether that's a work or not, we don't know 100%. But yeah,
Yeah. Again, I'll double down on what Dreezy said. Aside from just the topic of Sareena Deeb as a character, the person has sacrificed her whole entire life to entertain us. That's what this is at the end of the day. And I know I'm not using this term offensively, although it typically is taken that way and slung as an insult. But these are carnies. They're professional entertainers, and it's their job to create the illusion that they are doing what they're doing, and we intake it every single day. Don't take it for granted. Some of these people would give their lives to watch their fans smile. So, and now to break this back down to Sareena Deeb, as a professional wrestler, one of the greatest rivalries we got in the women's division was Sareena Deeb bouncing off of women to get to the world championship. Unfortunately, she was sidelined behind that. So, wishes well that she makes it back and gets to that goal, and hopefully with a character that people can digest, it's a little easier around the edges, right? Now this is kind of another shitty thing to have to segue into, because usually we like to end these podcasts on like more positive notes, but we have another shitty thing to discuss. I'm gonna try to my goddamn hardest to trickle in something nice after we're done talking about this one. Guys, we had Ric Flair, a 74-year-old man, have an absolute emotional breakdown on social media today. He posted something harrowing and very illuminating as to how he's been harassed since he's defected away from WWE. And how he hasn't been handling that. He just wanted to come over to AEW and spend some of his final in-ring days with his favorite in-ring people. And he took to socials today and tried to make sense of it, and he was tagging Tony Khan. I will say that there were a lot of professional wrestlers there, not just from the AEW universe, but also from the WWE universe, that was saying, fuck what anyone thinks, you preach king, you're Ric Flair, I don't care. Let's remove things like, his reputation in the 80s and the plane ride from hell from this conversation. He is a legend. We can never deny Ric Flair's contributions to professional wrestling. That's a fact. But, what is this going to lead into next? Being that he has in contract with AEW for 2 years, is he going to ride this thing out, or is he going to fall off the face of the earth? Wolf.
I would, excuse me, I would think that he's going to ride it out. I'm just kind of catching up on the tweet here. Look, my stance is this. I don't know what's happened in your life. So if Ric Flair's past or even current behavior offends you, it's not my place to try to convince you otherwise. But I just know that on social media, the hate is just amplified purposely just to be heard or just to be seen. And just be careful with that, because you don't know how it affects a psyche or affects a human being. I myself don't like social media. You might find me on Twitter occasionally. Blue Sky seems to be my jam these days. But yeah, you won't find me anywhere else because it's all toxic. And I think like a guy like Flair, he's just best probably off social media altogether. It is interesting though that most of the hate's coming from WWE's camp, or at least their fan base.
Yeah, the inner workings of pro wrestling tribalism is really showing its more ugly side. Wolf, boss, do you have comments on this?
I do. I'm gonna keep this brief. I think it's disgusting what the fans are doing to Ric Flair. Regardless of anything, Ric Flair is a pro wrestling legend, and the amount of years he worked for the WWE, instead of attacking him for going to their competitor, they should be thanking him and saying stuff like, "You are a legend. Don't attack a legend." Like, would you attack someone like Andre the Giant if he were still alive, if he signed with AEW? No.
They
Would you
probably would,
attack-
actually.
I mean, if Hulk Hogan decided to show up in AEW, the Hulk Hogan, would you attack him? No. You'd be like, okay, Hogan's in AEW now. Let's see where this goes. But I feel like they're attacking Ric Flair because of all the controversy, on top of the fact that he's no longer playing for their team, on top of the fact that, you know, at whatever. It's just, it's disgusting, and I feel terrible for Ric Flair. He just wanted to spend his last in-ring days with Sting. He wanted to go over and celebrate one of his biggest rival and friends' retirement, and it hurts. It hurts me as a wrestling fan to have to say, hey, stop attacking this guy. Andre, you got anything to say on top of it?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what Wolf said again. The social media is just cancer in so many ways, not just for wrestling fans, for just if you're a fan of anything, social media will ruin it for you because people are just insane. I don't know if humanity has always been like that, but the past like 10 years or so, people are just became insane on the internet, and they need to leave Ric Flair alone. He's done some shitty things, and we don't have to be friends with him. You know, he doesn't have to be our homie or anything. But you know, he's given me countless memories that I remember, and I laugh, and I have inside jokes, Flair related inside jokes with my friends, and he's actually pretty big outside of pop culture. Like he's big in the hip hop community and everything. So he's not just a wrestling legend; he's just a legend altogether. And he's not the only one that's been a victim of this. Like recently, Taya Valkyrie was bullied for being a bit too fat or whatever in her matches against Jade when she kind of first came back. Keith Lee was fat shamed. It's so funny because like everyone was sad about Bray Wyatt dying, but at the same time they were making fun of Keith Lee for being out of shape, even though he had a similar condition that killed Bray Wyatt. So it's like people just make me mad. Leave Ric Flair alone.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we started talking about this, we have like 5 or 6 people watching us right now. We got some woos in the chat for Ric Flair. So his legacy continues. We got some woos over there. So, hey, Chad, thank you for holding it down. I know there's not a lot of you guys in there right now. But, woo! So,
Woo!
Yeah. Slade.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with what everyone's saying here. I mean, and also the WWE fans who are harassing Ric Flair are kind of hypocrites, because here's the thing. Like, when Ric Flair had his retirement match in 2008, and then he went to TNA, like, I get it, social media was different back then, but from my POV, nobody was harassing him then. And then all of a sudden, when he's, going to AEW, now it's like, oh my God, we have to harass him? The hypocrisy of these fans is disgusting. The toxicity of these fans is disgusting, man. Come on. Like, grow up. Listen, if you are 36 years old and if you're doing that shit, grow the fuck up.
I'm 37. I'm not 30. I'm not 37 and doing that shit because it's morally irreprehensible. And yeah, agreed. Brent, take us home, bud.
Take us home.
I know,
well,
right?
That's where we kind of started, or we joined the AEW community, because when you're online, it's all WWE fans, and that's all they do is talk bad about you because you watch AEW, blah blah blah. There's nothing good there, and it's like, I don't know. We like AEW because it makes us think of like older wrestling before it got ruined, when it was just one company, WWE, WWF, and there wasn't competitors. TNA came along, Impact, TNA Impact, ROH was there, and they're smaller promotions, but yet these people don't look at these promotions to see the talent there is. And so then they just dog anything that's not WWE, and it is toxic. It's ridiculous, Um, it's funny because I was trying to think back to early days of the internet. You know, I'm like 42, and it's like the early days of 2000s. It's like I don't remember everybody being toxic like this. Like you could have chat rooms with all kinds of ages, and you didn't have to worry about getting, you know, called, well, someone looking at your picture and going, "Oh, you're fat," you blah blah blah. Hey, big, you know, like you know what it is to wrestle. You know, it's just so sad. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Well, you know,
and,
some of
and
the
to attack an old man like that, like they said he's 78 years old. Like if someone went after my dad, if it was something like that, like you bet you I'd want to come, you know, beat you or something in real life, like especially harassment, you know.
uh,
Um,
Flair is
someone mentioned like what's Flair gonna do after the whole Sting retirement match. Now that doesn't mean Sting is retiring from AEW entirely, right? That just means wrestling wise, unless he's just done with
I
wrestling
don't
in
think we know
general.
what he's gonna do afterwards
Yeah,
yet.
they're just saying his last match retirement, right? He could
Mhm.
still do stuff in AEW. He can still
Sting.
manage somebody on the sidelines, you
Yeah,
know, and not wrestle per
yeah.
se. Like he's done with Darby and whoever else countlessly. So what can Ric Flair do if he's signed a 2-year contract too, right? He's got Woo Energy, which
Yeah. Jay
I mean I
Lethal's
can't find
there.
it anywhere to try.
Yeah,
I
Lethal
guess
is
it
there.
says to go to Walmart to try it, but yeah.
Well,
Walmart has everything nowadays, so
yeah.
Giant Eagle has Woo Energy because that's what when he came to Ohio he was touring various Giant Eagles.
Well,
now the flavors don't look appealing, but you know.
I mean, to be fair to Ric Flair, this kind of teaches us a lesson about the human condition. And Woo Energy is actually delicious. I'm an energy fan connoisseur, and it's definitely better than a Bang. You wake up in the morning from a hangover and pound a Bang because you know you need it. You know, you might take a Woo Energy in the middle of the day just to carry you through and know where it's coming from, right? But I mean, guys, at the end of the day, look at it like this. You know, we could teach each other better lessons in how we engage each other, not just on the online platform, but you know how we deal with pro wrestling travelism instead of shaming someone because they don't understand and their perspective has been predominantly WWE. We could be kind to them and show them, hey, just because you don't know what's going on over here doesn't mean you have to be a hateful asshole. And I was called a prick earlier today, and I have been a very outspoken member in other communities about my feelings about Ric Flair. But at the end of the day, he is a 74-year-old man and he is a wrestling legend, and love him or hate him for the things that he's done. He's done some great things for other people. We'll never see or feel through his eyes. Take that into consideration when you engage anyone. You never know what someone is going through or how they're going to react to something like that. Be fucking kind to each other. And just like the community tenets that we follow now, just don't be a dick. You could be a dick to yourself, keep it on the inside, but you could be a dick. Don't be a dick to other people. That's bullshit. So, anyone else got anything on the Ric Flair thing? We're all done talking about the depressing stuff.
Yeah.
Woo! I
Yeah,
added
I'm
something.
so freaking sad right now.
Yeah, I know. We jump around from like major injury and Ric Flair, but hey, man, sometimes these things need to be discussed. These are the
No.
things that people miss in these conversations because they want to see directly what's in front of them. When they see the bigger picture, they get depressed. But that's the world that we live in. It's bittersweet. You take the good with the bad. It just teaches you to be better, and that's the perspective that we all need to have when we have these conversations because beyond AEW, there are other things going on beyond pro wrestling, but we're here for this reason, together forever, right?
Yeah.
What I want to talk about now is something that I added to this little discussion, and you guys are going to see it in the ticker. Adam Copeland returns the favor.
As soon as like we were talking about it this morning, and I was like that Christian Cage Adam Copeland segment was beautiful, and Shane said what he had to say.
Yeah, I'll always say something. We'll say what I gotta say. I'm done tiptoeing. So hey, if he could say fuck on TNT, I'm gonna say fuck into a microphone on a YouTube podcast. All right. So you ain't gonna stop me from doing it. man.
I'm with you on that, Shane. I am
Hey.
with you on that.
Man, so classic tale of professional wrestling. Christian Cage, being a traditional Christian Cage character, came out and cut a promo and backpedaled immediately as soon as he was alone in the ring with Adam Copeland, and Adam Copeland is starting to show his heel side, which is fantastic. This is the thing that brings these two together. This is what we've been waiting for, right? You think that you know him? You know that he just beat up a 18-year-old kid in front of his mother last week. Hell yeah, spanked that
And a
kid.
dinosaur.
Yeah, man.
And a dinosaur.
You think you know me?
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the funny part. He spanked that kid when he needed to get spanked, but his father figure didn't. Not because his real dad is dead, because his father figure is a surrogate father. My God, you're not my real dad. I'm just waiting for it when they bring Jordan over.
Yeah,
yeah.
when Nick Wayne turns face, the first thing he's gonna say, Christian Cage is, "You're not my dad."
You're not my dad. Maybe it's Darby. Who knows? This is a fun angle, and we did
Yeah.
get the fuck on TV, and that's great. And it was a great return segment. And Adam Copeland is finally, this is the part of him that I liked as a performer. The silly goofiness from the Attitude Era was there, but now we got a good amalgamation of all of these things together, right? And it looks like they're redirecting in this storyline in a way that's very digestible for people that know both characters from all promotions that they've been involved with. And by that I mean WWE and all the shit that Christian did.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass my final counterfeit buck of the night over to Wolf.
All right, man. I agree. I think the novelty of just Adam Copeland being in AEW is worn off, so we're finally getting to see them, operate on, full speed with this thing. You mentioned Jordan Oliver. I think that would be interesting, getting him into the mix. Christian could play up that narcissistic father that I think he's been playing up pretty well between Lucha and Nick Wayne, and get Jordan Oliver in there, and he could have his golden child 1 week to the next. Yeah, it was a good segment. What actually does anybody know? Actually, does AEW receive a fine when fuck is said on television?
You ever seen Breaking Bad? This came out then. If you're on network television, you
Yeah.
get one fuck every 6 months. Most
Wow.
most
Wow.
companies don't use it, but Tony Khan ate this one for the sake of story continuity.
No shit.
He sure
That's
did.
pretty cool.
He's and guys, you know me, tinfoil hat Shane. He ate an $136,000 fine.
Wow. Well, if he'll
Yeah.
pay like $1 million for a final countdown, he'll just do what he needs to do to.
Hey, it's the last fuck he'll give for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, he's literally the rated R superstar now. There's no
Yeah.
debate about that.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say was, when Adam Copeland countered the belt hit, and he was like, "Nice try, dumbass."
I laughed
like-
out loud.
I was like, that is the Adam Copeland that AEW needs right now.
Yeah, that was funny, but then he completely blew that. Even he
He was
completely
like,
made it even
Polish
better.
that title while you can. In fact, sleep with it if you have to, because that in 1 week that thing's coming on with me. Oh, and by the way, go fuck yourself. I lost it.
Hey, you guys remember when Jungle Boy slept with the FTW title? Classic.
Classic.
He
Yeah.
did.
I remember when Sammy Guevara and
they
Melo
posted
slept
that.
with the TNT belt.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, you have that saved on your computer, don't you?
No.
I remember when Kenny Omega carried belts between 4 promotions.
I remember
Yeah.
when Christian beat Kenny Omega for the Impact World title.
Yeah.
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 You think
That
that
was
you
a-
know him.
That was the Christian Cage and Kenny Omega. That was a very underrated feud in 2021.
Christian Cage flies under the radar because he didn't carry WWE star power into the other promotions that he touched. But if you roll back his TNA run, it was fucking awesome.
That's what got him the World Heavyweight Championship shot in WWE upon his return.
Yeah.
And then
which was short-lived.
And
Yeah.
they were
then we
running low on
got-
star power too. At
Yeah.
that time.
Even though they had
And-
like a fucking gleaming NXT roster at the time.
Yep.
So
And then we got one more match, Christian.
one more match.
And well, you said about the Attitude Era and the whole thing. Just remember, Christian used to be obsessed with kazoos.
Yo, dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. Hey, hey, Edge, I found this kazoo. Let's play it. Hee hee. Dude,
Giant sunglasses,
Yeah.
kazoos.
Polar opposites between the characters. Christian is just a very diverse character in professional wrestling. Hey, remember the Bangkok? Hey, what's the capital of Thailand, guys? Bangkok. You know, like that's when he was a world champion in TNA. It was
Yep.
great.
And Kenny
So-
Omega copied that.
Yeah.
I believe it was in AEW. It might have been in New Japan.
What was it? It was in an AEW ring.
Okay.
Not an exploding one though. Well, not that actually happened.
Oh,
I know.
that match was erased from everyone's minds. It never happened.
Unless you own Fight Forever and want to put some time into the game.
Hey! I still have to run through. What was the story mode called again?
Be the
No
elite.
one
Road
knows.
to Elite.
Road to the Elite.
No
Yeah.
one knows because it only lasts about 50 minutes.
I still haven't played it on my PS5. I played it briefly on my Switch.
Okay, you know the achievement for beating it 10 times?
What's that?
There's an achievement in Fight Forever for beating Road to the Elite 10 times.
Okay.
Really?
And I beat it 8 times in one day. That's how short it is.
They call
I was
that
doing it on
Jade
the
Cargill's belt run
Aww.
and Orange Cassidy's last international.
Sounds like CM Punk's run.
I was doing it as Cody Rhodes on the Switch, and I got bored.
You don't get pumped. You don't get pumped every time you hear Kingdom, dude.
Look, I get pumped every time I hear Kingdom, but not that short. If I wanted to hear Kingdom, if I wanted to see Cody Rhodes make an entrance, I'd just pop on WWE 2K23.
Oh,
Yeah, at
God,
least you get to hear the whoa in that
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, and you get to
Adrenaline.
see Cody Rhodes blow up another stage with his ridiculous pyro.
Yeah, my God. Whoa!
But you don't always get the Cody Vader, and that's what I love about Fight Forever is you get the Cody Vader.
Nah, dude, I want to see the Cody Lander and the Codyverse. I want to see everyone come together. Brent,
God.
go ahead, dude. He's like fervorously trying to hit the unmute button.
I can't even remember what I was gonna say.
You better hurry up.
I don't play
Can I say something?
2K.
Yeah, dude, it's an open forum conversation. Be
Yay.
easier. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let me tell you something. This feud is definitely more entertaining than that joke you call a Continental Classic. It has plenty of interesting plot points. You could insert Jungle Boy there. However, there is one plot line that everyone seems to be overlooking here. As we go back to when Nick Wayne was, ass handed by Adam Copeland. Before that, he was being forced to beat Nick's mom with a chair. Do you know what Christian Cage said? But as he handed him that chair, smash his mom.
Oh.
That is literally what he said. He said smash his mom. So I'm wondering where that storyline's going.
Oh dear God.
A
Sleazy's
live
just-
sex celebration on Dynamite.
Yeah, my God.
Not
Vince
again.
feeling
Ah, it's
very
always- it's
Oedipal
always about the
sleazy
mom.
today. Guys,
Brought up his mom and his dad.
We don't
I'm
need
your
another
father.
live sex celebration, please.
My God. Hold on. Would that be Edge and Lita?
That would be Edge and Lita, yeah.
No, it's gonna be Christian
After-
and Christian
after
and
he won
Shayna
the-
White.
After
Or-
he won the was it after he won the WWE title? Or was it after the rated R spinner got revealed?
It's not rated R. That was the Attitude XXX era. Remember what
Forgot
China was
about
doing around
someone's
that?
return.
that was during the Ruthless Aggression era. That was when John Cena and Edge and Randy Orton.
You guys ever think about like the John Cena raps and promos from way back that when and how he would never be able to get away with that shit in this day.
Yeah, they were
It's
hilarious.
the
but
same
yeah.
thing with the Rock in the Attitude Era. Rock and Jericho in the Attitude Era. Every time they would talk to Stephanie McMahon, they are not getting away with that shit today.
But you don't see fans trying to cancel them.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, getting canceled. While we're on the topic of that, we've entered our final phase of the show. We are on an hour, folks, and we are mopping it up. So we are gonna ride this conversation out and then call it a night. The Attitude Era, the best and the worst of. We got to see some of the craziest thing on television. I will tell you, one of the worst things I ever saw during the Attitude era was the feud between the Nation of Domination, the Hart Foundation, and Degeneration X. Now, if you haven't seen that episode, I would not challenge you to go look that up on YouTube. And there are worse things from that era, but that would be my pick for top 5. Wolf.
Yeah, that I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh
I
my
can't top
God.
it. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
hard to
bad.
watch.
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with like little dark makeup?
No, close.
Okay.
no, not with the Heart Foundation. I'm not gonna say it. Just
Okay,
I'll
you don't
say
have
it.
to. You can
I'll
say
say
it.
yeah.
later.
Well, how about this? Let's put a philosophical spin on this. So that era, is it a bygone era? You know, we consider the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression eras to be some of the best of WWE writing, and after that, it kind of tapered off. We got the Fallen Hero era. We got the Shield after that. They didn't really do much after 2015. You know, what would it be to return to that era in another promotion? You think AEW would ever get away with pulling something out of their back pocket like more things that happened during that era?
absolutely not. They can't even bring back Ric Flair, who did
Yeah.
shit 40 years ago. That
Yeah.
so
And he
there's no
did
way.
shit off camera. I mean, all he did on
right.
camera was wheel and deal, kiss steal. He'd bang any girl in the front row, including that fat one right over there. You know,
So see,
Yeah.
this is what I have a
longest
problem with.
line.
He was doing that all the way up until the early mid 2000s. No problem. Everyone was like, "Oh, funny Ric Flair." And today, the reason why he's getting one of the reasons he's getting harassed online today is slight spoiler for Rampage, is that on tomorrow's Rampage, which was taped yesterday, he said, "All the girls in the arena, 18 to 28, come to my hotel room, leave your husbands and your boyfriends behind," or something like that. And that's what people are upset about. And from what I saw, that segment is going to get cut from tomorrow's episode. But that's just Ric Flair being Ric Flair.
Did he throw a
It's-
shoe?
No, I don't think so.
Did
but
Jay
like-
Lethal come out as dressed up as Ric Flair?
Not that I saw. But I mean, it's like he's just being what he did 20 years ago. And yeah, like
Yeah.
we're saying, people weren't getting canceled back then. So, but
Well,
they
I
are
mean,
now.
We have to draw the line on what's socially acceptable. It wasn't acceptable back then, but why let it become and breathe as an echo chamber? It's a caricature of professional wrestling. You treat it as such. This is what we grew up with. If it was acceptable then, if it's not acceptable now, then it kills the legacy. So it has to. You're walking. Either you run it parallel or you pick a side, and then both sides want to like. You know, it becomes an echo chamber. A lot WWE is placating into this idea that, you know, Ric Flair is gone because it's not theirs. You have all this hate towards Ric Flair and AEW now, when that could have been put on him when he was kissing Becky Lynch during Survivor Series back in 2017 on screen.
And when Lacey Evans got pregnant, they were making it seem like he was the dad. It was so weird.
Yeah, so people pick and choose their battles so they could
Yeah.
use it to their benefit to control their own personal narratives. And that's the problem with social media that Wolf spoke on earlier, you know?
Yeah, man. What was the original topic? I don't remember.
Just the mop up.
Yeah, we were just
You
talking
You
about
mentioned
anything.
attitude, top 5 attitude.
What's up?
Eras,
We were talking about fun attitude.
fun attitude.
I said the bad stuff. Say the fun stuff, please.
Well, shit. I could really only remember the bad stuff.
Let me backpedal, and then we'll segue. My favorite Attitude Era moment was when Mick Foley came out in the Royal Rumble 3 times.
Oh, that's the 3 faces of Foley. I'd like to shout out Hell in a Cell 98. Undertaker Mick Foley, where Mick Foley was. Did he jump or was he thrown off the top of the cage?
He was thrown.
He was thrown off the top of the cage. It takes guts to do something like that.
That was an accident. They didn't expect the cage to break. That's the crazy thing about that.
Oh, wow.
There's a
Yeah.
whole documentary behind that. They
They,
thought Foley was dead when he hit that. And he got up, and his teeth separated from his gum line, and they were
Oh.
embedded to the inside of his cheek.
Well,
Ugh.
when the first fall went through the table, that was planned, but the second fall where he went through the cage, that was not planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to, or he posted a video to his social media on the 30th anniversary of that match of him going to the, I guess, like some sort of WWE storage place, and they have the cage from that match.
I thought you were gonna say they have his tooth.
While we're
No,
on the topic of Hell in the Cell, I'll hit on one of the worst ones, Boss Man Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
no, I've got a worse one. Fiend Rollins, 2019.
That's not from Attitude though.
That's not attitude.
No, it's not.
bud.
It's not Attitude Era, but it is by far one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
One of the best Hell in a Cell matches of that year was Bailey Sasha Banks.
Ooh, yes,
God
yes,
dang.
yes.
Those two women put on a class for women's wrestling.
Was that 2019 or was that 2020?
It,
That was
close.
2020.
Still
That-
great match.
Oh, fantastic! That was match of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Fi-
Those women tore each other apart again.
Yep.
A moment that comes to my mind, it's not from Attitude Era exactly. It's from really early Ruthless Aggression, 2002. And this is a horrible moment, but do you guys remember Eric Bischoff and 3 Minute Warning? Jamal and Rosie?
Oh God.
And
Oh,
one day Bischoff said he's gonna give the fans some HLA, which is hot lesbian action. And then these two 400 pounds dudes, I remember Jamal, who then went on to become Umaga, just kicked the shit out of this girl. And then they body splashed her off the top rope. And I'm just like, dude, that is so horrible.
Was that worse than Bubba Ray Dudley power bombing a 7-year-old woman?
Was that Mae Young?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad too, but she's taken a lot of bumps. I saw a clip today on Instagram of Kurt Angle slamming her.
Yep.
I
Speaking
love
of Kurt Angle, there is one thing that I do not like about Kurt Angle's career, and it is the fact that Dave Meltzer hates Kurt Angle because he gave him 0 5-star matches. It is Kurt Angle. He is one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever. No 5-star matches?
I'd give him at least one.
And this
I'd
is
give
why I
him
don't
several.
believe anything Dave says.
It's man, this conversation can evolve and devolve. Meltzer is the same as everybody else. You could take it with a grain of salt. The dirt sheets and the reporters exist to create subterfuge. It's the new kayfabe, my friends. But that is a conversation for a later day. We will run right back to it. Sleazy, do you have a favorite Attitude Era match?
Well, certainly is an attitude. Well, I wouldn't say a match. It's more so of a certain thing. And it was in a certain company called ECW. And it was this certain wrestler
There
who
he
went by the
goes.
name of Taz.
Oh my!
And then he
Yeah.
created the
Human
certain
suplex.
prestigious
The
belt that
human
we all know
suplex.
today.
Fuck this
Known
guy.
as the
I love
FTW title.
Sleazy, I bet you, like, the first thing you do when you get like enough money to buy it is you're gonna buy a replica of the FTW championship.
You know what? Honestly,
Hell yeah!
we'll never monetize this channel, but if by some stroke of genius we wake up one morning and there's $200 sitting in a YouTube fund, I'm gonna buy an FTW and send it to fucking sleep.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. But yeah,
Mark
that is
my
my favorite
words.
moment.
That's how we'll
Uh,
use that. That's how we'll use that money for first, not
Yeah.
for tuitions, not for charities, but for the
Yeah, of
FTW
course.
belt that you deserve
Now-
as much as Hook does right now, carrying it for his father, who
Now,
can't
the-
even admit that Hook is his son behind a microphone on live television.
Now the worst.
But the way he was so mad at Jack Perry when he turned on Hook at Forbidden Door, it's like, somebody get this kid in jail or something.
He could have just said, "That's my son. Fuck this." He was on a
That's
pay per view. It's my boy.
He used to be on TV.
Look how he
Taz,
massacred
I mean,
my
come
boy.
on.
Now,
Yeah,
the
he's-
worst moment I'd say from the Attitude Era, because it's aged very poorly, is Val Venus. You know the one.
Hi, choppy, yo, pee pee.
Actually, I don't think he aged that bad. I think
It
I think
certainly
a
aged better
modified
than,
version of him can work today. I think,
certainly aged better
especially
than Eugene.
For sure.
especially because
lady.
porn is like more socially
What about the
acceptable
whole
now with the
train?
OnlyFans and
He'd be
stuff.
called Step
Hey
Brother.
man, Dreezy, I get what you're laying down. That's a conversation for another podcast. My
Yeah, Brent, what's Brent,
Godfather?
what's your thing?
I can't even remember that much because it's like I was more of a WCW guy. Like
yeah, let's get a WCW one out. How about
I
Glacier?
Oh God.
you're saying worst moment?
No, your favorite, dude. Some of it. Listen,
My favorites. Oh man, there's yeah.
How about
The
Mike?
Sting's first appearance as the Crow.
Oh,
yeah,
Was it
iconic.
like 93
Iconic.
or something?
7.
Yeah.
I have Power Punch Sting as the Crow sitting right up above me at
Yeah,
all
like,
times,
oh,
watching over
man,
my living room.
I had a Gambit doll from like X-Men and I painted it like the Crow and like made hair for it because I was a weird teenager and stuff because he had his trench coat and stuff.
I have a
Yeah,
WCW classic
was my
for you.
man.
Let's get it. You're a
The-
WCW fan. I love that hoodie, by the way.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Shout out PlayStation.
What's up?
The Human Torch match.
No, my if I want to shout out a favorite WCW moment, RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
That was before my time.
Classic.
RoboCop saved Sting. What was it from the NWO?
No, that was before NWO. I think you saved him from Flair
Oh yeah, because Sting was like in a shark cage, right?
or Vader or somebody. I think probably Vader.
Yeah, like Sting was stuck in some sort of cage, and like they're like, "Oh, who's gonna save Sting?" And all of a sudden, out comes RoboCop of all people.
Was that actually Peter Weller? That's the real question.
I believe it
I don't remember.
was.
You know, my
It
favorite.
was talked about a lot back then, though, that RoboCop thing, even though it's considered one of the worst things to ever happen to wrestling.
In comparison to my favorite WCW moment, my favorite WCW moment will shock you.
Oh boy.
Let's hear it.
I don't have to. What you guys don't know, it's the Shockmaster.
Yeah, and I was just
Oh
about to
my
say it's the
God.
Shockmaster. Come on, I know about that.
One of the greatest entrances of all time. Bust through the
Flair,
wall,
Flair,
loses the helmet.
Vicious, Sting, Joe and Hoker.
Yeah.
Standing in a row.
NWO, they all pair in comparison to the Shockmaster.
If you watch that again,
And lost his helmet, and that is a glitter painted stormtrooper helmet.
Wolf.
yo,
he was on
if you
AEW earlier this year, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
Orange
that
Cassidy.
pay-per-view was at your house and they had him on there.
Orange
Like,
Cassidy
oh,
dapped him.
Shockmaster.
Wolf. Wolf, sing us out. Ow!
all right, so I mean the Shockmaster is a good one. I was just gonna say if you go back and listen to it, Ric Flair's like he's holding the microphone still and he's just like, oh god.
Yeah.
It's oh god.
He bursts through the wall, falls over, loses his helmet, and then just tries to regain the situation.
Yeah.
Shockmaster is a very poignant moment in professional wrestling because it kind of loops around the silly goofiness. Not trying to name drop old man Simon Miller, but pro wrestling is balance. It's the reality between the tragic, between the brutal, between the funny, between the goddamn silly, and we get all of that.
Cassidy exists is to be silly.
It's supposed to take you away from what's going on in the world.
It is
not politicize it or whatever.
Hey man, listen, we all take the medium for our own reasons, but those reasons bring us here every Tuesday and Thursday to talk shit. And with that, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this thing up. For everyone that watched us today, thank you for joining us here on our platform. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday that we can be. We all have lives. We're all adults. We all got shit going on, but you'll typically see the same people here every now and then. But you're welcome to tune in here on So What's the Catch. You could join us on Discord. We are the All Elite Fans Official, and that's not to imply that we're all elite AEW. We accept all wrestling fans of all shapes, sizes, brands, and promotions. Come talk shit with us on the page. We won't scare you off unless Sleazy is talking about the FTW belt, and then
I
you
wonder
can
if Shockmaster
Yeah,
was the
Griff Garrison.
FTW
Get rid of
champion.
him.
Or Griff Garrison. Yeah.
who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Who likes Hook? Like one of the worst.
Oh God, that's a
I
conversation
like,
for a later.
hey, I like Hook. He's cool.
That's a conversation for a later pod. Gentlemen, it was a fantastic evening. Thank you to everyone that showed up tonight. We will see you guys next Tuesday unless we decide to do a roundtable in between then. Until then, everyone have a fantastic week. Go watch SmackDown, New Japan Strong, AEW Rampage and Collision, and anything else that's going on the weekend. GCW, AIW, and CZN have stuff. So to that, I say adieu, bang, whatever he does. Good, say good night, boys.
Kota Ibushi is very underrated.
Get out of here, please. Good night, and